This is the second lecture on Android development. If you haven't done the first one, no worries. We'll go over everything real quick in the beginning and get you guys caught up to speed. So if you haven't done or if you weren't here last time and you didn't get this code that we wrote, what you're going to need to do is open Eclipse. Have you guys downloaded Eclipse? Okay. So open Eclipse, and let me show you guys what to do. So open Eclipse, which I have open right here. And you're going to want to go to File, New, and you're going to want to click Android Application Project. So when you get that, actually I have you are going to so we're here, File, New, Android Application Project. And then when we get here, you can type in anything for your application name. I named this EC327 just because, for whatever reason, I just gave it a name. Basically, this will just be your application name that will be shown on the screen of the Android phone that we'll be running on later. You can change it later, I'm pretty sure, so don't worry about it too much, just throw something in there. And don't change anything else. So you should just be changing the part that says application name, and everything else will fill in here. Are you guys at that point? Yeah? Alright, I just want to make sure you have it. When you're here, don't change anything, click next. When you're here, click next as well. Basically, this screen is, if you already have an app idea that you want, and you already have the icon, you can put the icon in here. For now, we'll be using this guy, and you can change it later, obviously, so don't worry about it. It's not like you need to design your app before you actually make it. And then when you get to here, I'll go over activities real quick. So an activity, we can kind of think of as a single screen in an application. So when you're running an app, like Facebook has their news feed and on your phone, and that's one screen basically. Then maybe you just switch over to your messages. That's a whole other screen. So we call those two different screens activities in Java. So basically they're the you can just think of them as different screens, basically. So we want to leave it at blank activity, and then here we can leave that activity name and layout name. We can leave those as default. So the activity name is what I just described. It's the Java code that we have to run our screen or our app. So that's the Java code will go in our activity. Our layout file will be a .xml file. Don't even know what that means at all. It's just basically it's just a file Android uses. Basically, we will tell the screen how we want it to look. So we'll define, what buttons do we want? Do we want check boxes? Do we want text? Do we want buttons? Do we want sliders? We'll define that all in the layout, and then we'll associate the layout with the activity. So the activity will start, and then it'll go. What layout file we're looking for, and we'll tell it to look at activity. So just click next, leave that as default, or click finish actually. And so this screen should pop up. Are you there? You guys have the screen? Yeah. I'm hearing oh, it's loading? Okay. Alright, so you'll get to the screen after this, or after setting up a new project. Basically, this is just, it's called the graphical layout. This is so, if you wanted to, you could drag and drop these little widgets they call on the screen and position how you want them. And all these are different things that Android has available in its library for us. So what these are little, I like to call them views, or Android actually calls them views. I like to call them objects. So we can think of them as kind of little objects that we'll place around our screen, and they'll have different attributes that will change about them. Whether we want them to be sized differently, whether we want a different color, maybe we want it to have a certain functionality. We can think of them as containers basically for all these attributes, and they'll be little individual objects. So what we'll do is we're not going to use graphical layout because that's a little bit of cheating. So we'll do the actual coding in the .xml file, so we can learn basically actually how this stuff works. So what I need you to do is go over to this .xml and click that little tab right there. Are you guys at this screen? Is anyone having trouble getting to the screen? Okay. So this should be, so I'm going to run through this real quick, and then we'll get started on new stuff. So basically, this huge thing at the top, we don't need to worry about it. Just let it be for now. This is just setting up our layout. And our layout, this thing that says relative layout, between this tag and the tag at the top is all, we're going to put all our containers or objects, as what I was referring to before, in between those tags. This just describes what type of layout we're going to use, and it's pretty much just setting, telling Android how to set up the screen. I'm trying to think. It is. If you haven't done coding before, it's definitely a little intimidating. It's a lot of text. It doesn't really make sense. I wouldn't worry about it for now. As you work with Android a little more, it's going to make a little more sense. When I was first doing it, it was definitely, I don't know what this means at all, but it works. So this right here is one of those objects I was talking about. This is a text box. In Android, they call it a text view. That's just the name they give it. And here we always need these two attributes right here: Android layout width and layout height. So the reason we have this Android in front is because this is telling Android or the phone that's running it what library to look into. So to say, look at the Android library in this text view container and look for this attribute layout height. So layout height is obviously the height of our object, and layout width is going to be our width, of course. This thing that says wrap content, this just means we don't really care how big it is. Just make sure that all the text that we want, which is down here, make sure that's big enough to hold everything we want. So wrap content just means we don't care about how small it is. Yeah. Within the actual text. Yeah, you can actually do attributes like bold, italics, size. You can do what font you want. I don't know if I have that documentation on hand, but if you just Google, change font in Android, Stack Overflow is a really good website, and they have a lot of documentation on that. It is pretty simple though. You would define it here, and you can also do it in Java as well. So if you want to have a button that changes the font of your text, you have 4 buttons that has 4 different fonts. You can do that in Java as well. But there's an attribute for it. Centering the text in there probably is something for that as well. I've never used it, and I can't think of what it would be. But they definitely have that functionality. So is this making sense? Is this making sense? You guys are really alright. So basically, you have the first lecture on YouTube. So if you really want to get a more in-depth knowledge about it, I'm kind of just running through it right now. Watch the lecture in the first 15 minutes. We kind of go over it. So this is our layout file, and I'll show you guys how to make I'll show you guys how to access our activity file, and then we will get started. So in here, this is my Eclipse. This is what it looks like I just had before. So these are all your projects on the left. Basically, to get to the Java file, which you guys should open right now, you just press one of these pluses on one of the open this folder called source, or SRC, and you're going to open this thing it's called a package. You don't need to worry about it now. And just double click on whatever you want to open up. So I click on this, and it should open up the screen. It won't have all this stuff, but it'll have basically like activity. So if you guys weren't here last time, we're going to copy and paste our stuff from last time in these files. Okay, so these are the two pasting files. If you go to that URL, you should be able to get the stuff or get the code. So this is our layout. So if you guys want to go here and copy and paste this whole thing into your .xml file, which you can find in the this folder. So you know how we went to source for the job files. You go into RES or resources, and then we go into layout, and our layout will be right there at 3D guys. So open that and copy and paste this file in there. And then in your main activity.java, you want to copy and paste this into there. We're going to want to get rid of this one. So, yes, there's something to that. All right. You guys have that copy and pasted? No? Is it, you got to copy and paste it? No. Yeah, so open. Are you getting there? Is it? And then you just don't click on it. Well, you actually have it open right here. So what you want to do is go to that link and just copy and paste that file. And the ones on the right, so HAM. Yeah. You want to copy and paste that, and yeah, copy it over. Basically, get rid of everything in the file. Everything, yeah. Get rid of everything in the file and copy and paste it. You got it? Okay. All right. I mean, this will be posted. Okay. So, and then this is in our. We want to put in our Java file. So under source, so open up that file that says src, and then double click on the main activity.java is what it should be called, and just copy and paste this link into there. And you're going to want to delete this line, this package line. I shouldn't copy and paste this in. But basically, this is just a package that I made mine on. You don't need to worry about packages for now. But basically, just it depends on what you call your app. So I call mine BC327. And that's why it won't work, because it'll be like, I don't know what this package is on your computer. But it makes sense in mine because. So yeah, delete that one. You guys. So anyway, I'll go over what we'll be doing today. So today we're gonna basically go between two different screens, as I was saying before, so two different activities, and we're gonna learn how to change the background color and basically add functionality to our buttons. Last time we had a button that took a text that we inputted and it just displayed on the screen. And this time we'll be learning how to do some other cool stuff with buttons, such as switching screens and changing the background color. It sounds like pretty simple stuff, but there is a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. So do we have the Java files copy pasted? Yes? All right. So I'll close these down. You guys over there, you got it? All right, good stuff. So we're on to the real presentation. So as I was going over, we'll also be doing alerts. So when you're push message for iPhones, These are just alerts that will pop up on the screen to tell your user something happened. We'll just be outputting garbage today. It'll just say what color that they clicked on, but we'll still be going over creating alerts. Sliders I don't think we'll cover today, but everything else we will do today. So we need to create a new layout file. So go to that folder that was called res, and then underneath that folder there's one called layout. When you're in there, right click on that folder called layout, right click and go to new and create a new Android XML file. So go to layout, right click, and press new Android XML file. And what should pop up? So really this is just what we did last time. This is we're telling the screen what to look like. We're creating the exterior of the screen, and later we'll be doing the engine of that screen, that activity. But for now, we're just telling it how we want it to look. So you should go to new Android XML file. This screen will pop up, and give it a random name. It doesn't matter what it's called. I called mine second layout, and you're going to want to click relative layout. Though if you didn't click it, no big deal. We'll be changing it in a second. So in our file, this is the header that we had last time that I told you guys not to worry about. We're going to want to basically have all these in our header. If you just created a new XML file, these probably won't be in there. What I did was last time I just copy and pasted the header or the layout header from my first activity, or so main activity.xml over to here. And you know that it's doing the same thing. This just creates, this says like padding. This just creates that we don't want our objects to go all the way to like the sides of the screen. We want to have like a little padding around the side of the screen. We don't really need it. It just looks a little better in my opinion. So if you don't have this, no big deal. You do need to have this XMLNS Android thing, and though I think that should come to default when you create a new file. Yeah, what's up? The first line with the encoding and version, that just tells Android how you're setting the file. So the encoding is UTF-8, and that's just, I think ASCII is another way that we can do it. I've never really bothered with it. It's always been like that. I don't see a reason why you would change it unless you had maybe a file in another data type. But this whole version thing is just if we update the code later, like say we make an app, upload it to the App Store, then we're like, oh, you know, I want to change this up. This is just to keep for ourselves. And this encoding is actually this. Yeah, that encoding is just telling us how the file is encoded. That's kind of super. So if you do copy paste it from the other one, you want to remove that line that has tools con. There's going to be a line down here that says like Android or tools context, and it says like main activity.java or something. You want to delete that. So basically, just have this up in here. So we're going to need a text view, which is just basically a text box to display our message that we'll be sending from the last screen. We need a button to go back to the last screen. Actually, I didn't have that. 3 buttons that we're going to use to change background color, and we won't be able to start it today. But so in Android. So we're going to go to this. We're going to go. I call mine layout2.xml. So we'll be going to layout2.xml, and as you can see, I already wrote all the code, but so here, this is what you guys should have right now. Right in this spot, we're gonna make a new text view. So I'll go over real quick what the code means for those that weren't here last time. If you were here last time, you should already kind of get a general feeling of what this is. But we're going to just write this in that little space between the 2 layout tags. And this is our ID. So this is just the name that we give this certain text view, this certain object. We're going to give it a name so later We can access it, we can talk to it, we can change it if we want. This @+ID, you're wondering what does that mean? This just makes it so it's a global variable, a global object that we can access, which means in any of our files in this project, we can go, I want to talk to header message, and we can access it. If we did have this @+ID, we'd still be giving it an ID, but it'd only be in the .xml file. So that's why we're going to need to do this @+. This slash, so this is the name right here that we're calling it, header message. You can call that, you can change this to whatever you want. It doesn't have to be header message. It can be, my first text box. It can be anything you want. It cannot have spaces though, so you have to use underscore if you want spaces. As I talked about before, we're just setting the width and height. We're saying we don't care. Just make sure we can see all the text in our text files. This Android layout, center horizontal, is just a tag that basically says we want this thing in the center of horizontal, or do we not care about it? I said it's true. If I didn't care if it was centered horizontally or not, you wouldn't need to say this line at all. Its default is false. But I just set it equal to true to center horizontal. It kind of speaks for itself. And then Android text is just the text that this text box will have on default. And we can change this in our file. So is this making sense to you guys? I see kind of some confused faces. It's obviously alright if you ask questions. That's what I'm here for. And I want to make sure you guys get this. I'm kind of running through because we already have our first lecture online, and I want to repeat for the guys that are running over there and girls. I want to make sure we're PC. But you guys have any questions at all? Any at all? Okay. It's not like you were asking questions before. That's good. That's good. Okay. So now we're going to add our buttons. This is a lot of code, but it's kind of recycled from the last thing we did, and even from the text view. When we make these objects, they all have very similar attributes. We have our ID, our width, our height, and here we have the text, and this other stuff I'll go real quick. But a lot of this stuff is recycled. We use a lot of the same attributes. We use a lot of the same tags. And this is just because Android needs to have the height and width defined, and we always want to give it an ID so we can always access it. Even if we don't think we're going to, we want to make sure that it has an ID so we can position other things relative to it and whatnot. So these are 3 buttons. These are going to be 3 buttons on the bottom. One's going to say red, blue, and yellow. And basically we're going to click them and it'll change it back to color. So I'll go, I'm too short, so I'll go with this one on the bottom. So again, we're giving it an ID, @+, just to make sure it's global. We give it a width, and we give it a height. These widths, I just made 100 dp because when I was doing rap content before, yellow is a long word, so it just looks really weird. Basically, the way it formatted the text was, it made sure all these buttons could fit on, and then yellow was kind of in a horizontal way. You don't need to worry about it. I just set it to 100 just so we can make a good word. So, and then down here we have layout to the right of, to right of. This is saying that we want this button to be to the right of whatever is called by this ID tag. And this @+ID red button references this right here. So so Android's gonna position this, and then it's gonna move this to the right. Android layout margin left says we want to have 20 dp, or so 20 pixels basically. dp just stands for pixel density. Depends on your resolution of the screen, but we can just think of it as pixels. So 20 pixels, we want to have a space of 20 pixels between this thing and anything to its left. So we want to have a space of 20 pixels between this thing and anything to its left. I just want to draw that point. Android text speaks for itself. It's just the text that the button will have. And then down here we have layout, align, parent, bottom. What does that mean? Parent bottom, Our parent is the layout that we're dealing with. So in this case, it's the relative layout. And we're just saying that we want this thing to be on the bottom of the layout. So the layout is taking up the whole screen, so this thing will be on the bottom of the layout. There will be a little space, and that's the pattern that we dealt with before in the header comments. But if you didn't have that, it'd be right at the bottom. So this is the way that we position this at the bottom, because if we didn't have this line, Andrew would put this right in the top left corner. That's where everything goes on default, but we want to use. So you should have all that written down. You guys got that? Yeah.
So I don't know if is that a reading function?
In the XML file? I don't think there is. I think you have to define all of it. You can make buttons in Java. So I don't. You may be able to have a blank XML file and then add things through the Java. So if you have like, if you have like 4 buttons you want to do, you want to make it a for loop, maybe that'll make the buttons. Though that will be hard because you'll need to like have different variable names for them. So it is a little annoying because again we're only doing 3 buttons, but if we had a calculator or something that had 20 buttons, it'd be annoying to do all this. So I get where you're coming from, but I do think you have to define them all individually, one at a time. But a lot of these are copy and pasted. I mean, I just copy and paste this stuff and just change like this line and this line in the text. So. So yeah, I just went over that. Layout align parent bottom plates our object near the bottom of the screen. This is the only new attribute from the last function. So that's it. That's our functionality.
So is this XML file, is it the relative layout?
Yeah.
So it's not the linear layout?
Yeah. So we have different layouts that we can define in Android. Relative layout basically means that we can use attributes that will define objects relative to linear layout. Would put it in a line and go in the top left, and we keep putting things to the right until it reaches the end of the screen, go down to the next line and do that way. We can also have grid view layout, so something like when you're scrolling through iTunes and it has all the album covers kind of in grid layout. That's what grid layout does. There's a couple other ones, but they're not really used a lot. Yeah, you can have different layouts and you fun. The default is linear layout. So now we're going to need to make a new Java file. So go to your source folder, where we were before, and right click and go to new class. It's not going to say new Java file, you're going to have to go new and then down to within this class. So Java files are called Java classes basically. That's just the name that they've been given. I can't really give you a reason why, but we'll just have to go with it. So a Java class, we're going to need Java class. So when you open that, that's where I'll go do it. Okay. So I call mine second activity. That you guys all made a new class. Are you there? So I call mine second activity. And it won't have all this stuff on it. It'll probably just say public class, second activity, and then it'll have another bracket down here close it. What we're going to need to do is extend the activity. So that just tells Java that this is going to be an activity. This is going to be a screen that we can access. When I've made apps before, I've had classes that may hold databases or may access databases. I've had classes that compute functions. So if I wanted to have a bunch of math functions, I put that in the class, and it wouldn't extend activity because it wasn't a screen that the viewer would see. It would be something that I would access in my application in the background that they wouldn't be able to see in the screen. The class is kind of just a container. Again, I'm using that word again, but it's going to be a container for a bunch of different functions or actions that you can perform, and then it's going to have variables that we can work with in the functions that we define and in this case, it'll set up our screen for us. So we want to extend activity, and we want to write this method right here. So you guys shouldn't have this method yet in your class, or do you? Is this thing there yet? No. So we're going to want to write this onCreate method. So onCreate is, that's the first function that Android looks for if it's an activity. So it'll go in here and it'll go, where's the onCreate function? And when it finds it, it'll run through, and then it finally sets up the screen. If you don't have this onCreate, your activity won't run, your app will crash, and it won't be good stuff. So we need to have this onCreate. We don't need to worry about this bundle saved into C. Right now, this is just something that Java needs. You won't worry about it. But we do need these two lines as well. Super.onCreate. So we're going to call the super class. We don't need to, I won't go into that now. But, and then set content view that's where we associate our layout with this class, so this activity. So we want to do r.layout. Whatever you called your second layout. Yeah, this associates the layout with this engine, basically this material. And we also do need this override. So I'm not going to go into all the logistics of, what is this thing, bundle, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into that, just so we don't really need a working knowledge of it now. We're just looking to create a functional application. And to be honest, I don't really fully know what exactly this does. It's just something that Java has required us to have in, and this is some variable that it gets from the program or from the project. So we don't need to worry about that.
What sort of inputs do you need?
So the imports we won't worry about now. As we define these variables, there'll be errors. It'll have that little red squiggly line, and then we can import that from there. We can import it that way. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to find our three buttons, our red button, our yellow button, our blue button, and you can call those variables whatever you want. We're going to need a text view. For now, don't worry about this stuff yet. So when you guys type in button and then make those variables, basically we're going to be assigning the buttons that we need in the XML file to these variables in a second. But there might be a little red squiggly line under the thing that says button. So what you're going to need to do is take your mouse and just hover over it for a sec, and a dialog box pop up. And there should be an option that says import button. What this is here I just opened up this little import thing here. So these are all the libraries that Android uses. And so we need to import them into our project so that Java can use the things within these libraries. These are broken up into libraries so that we don't load every single thing Java has into an app that we don't need. So if I'm just making an app that says "Hello World," we don't need to put in the gyrometer, the accelerometer. The accelerometer. We don't need to put in click listeners, dialogue interface, because we don't need to put that stuff in. It's just going to slow it down a little bit. So we just put in exactly what we need. So whenever you get an error, hover over it, and Eclipse will give it a little fix. And import is probably usually the final solution most of the time. So yeah, make these four things right here, and then we're also going to need our relative layout. So this relative layout variable is going to reference the layout that we made in the .xml file. This is so that we can change the background of this layout. So yeah, just make a relative layout and then give it a variable name. So then down here, we're going to have, here we're giving our variables that we just made above the onCreate. So we made this, as soon as this activity runs, it's going to make these variables, and then it's going to look for onCreate. And so it kind of actually runs like this, how it's set up on the screen. So when we're on create, we're going to take this red button and we're going to assign it the red button that we made in our XML file. And so this is r.id. This is referencing the ID that we made in our XML file. This is why we needed to make it global, so that we could reference it in this class file. So this is going to cast it. This is going to say we're storing a button variable. This is basically reaffirming that this is going to be a button variable. We're going to use this thing called find view by ID. There's a little function that Android gives us that it's just going to search through the XML file and it's going to look for something that has the ID tag of red button. So we're going to need to do that 3 times for our 3 buttons. So after that, here we're going to do the same thing with our relative layout. So I'm not sure if you guys actually gave this thing an ID, but in our layout too, again in this header, we're going to do this Android ID, and we're going to give it an ID, like we did before with our other stuff. So go to your .xml file that we just made, the new one called layout 2, and in the header, give it a ID tag. This is so that we can reference it and change the background. So yeah, go to find view ID and reference the ID we just gave it. So let's do the text view as well. So the text view is the first thing that we need in our new layout. So layout 2, let me go back in and everything out. So this should be our layout 2, and we're gonna access this text view. So in message, we're gonna do find view ID, and then make sure that we reaffirm that it's gonna be a text view variable, and look for that thing called head message, or whatever ID tag you need. So that should be all good up here. So we're gonna go to our main activity.java now, real quick, and we're gonna change something there. We're gonna need a button in our main activity.java file. From last time, we just were able to put text from, we were able to have an edit text, write in some numbers or some letters or whatever, where you hit a button, and the text view would be replaced by the message that we inputted. So now we're gonna need to add a button to this thing, and so that we can go to this next screen. So go over to your .xml file for your, it should be called activity main, or whatever your first layout is, and we're going to add this piece of code right here, this thing called button. And we're just going to give it wrap content. I call it arrow since I'm assigning a text that has a little arrow to go to the next page. And then we want it below this thing called text view. We want it in the center and margin. You don't really need to worry about this. This can be. This is just where we want to put it in the screen. We can put it anywhere on the screen, but I'm putting it below this thing called text view right here, which was our message last time. So when we press enter, this thing called text view got changed, and so I'm just putting it below that. So this is going to be our button. We'll go to the next screen. You guys with me, or is it making sense? Yeah? Okay, yeah. Okay. So this is our main activity. This is our activity file that we made last time. So we're going to add this new button called button next screen. So in the file that we made last time, or if you guys are right here, the one you just copy pasted, you're going to need to put in this thing called button next screen. Actually, this should already be in there. You guys have copy pasted this, so don't worry about it. But if you guys, you have to click one time, and this thing called button next screen, you just create a new button, and then we will give it a click listener, which a click listener is exactly what it sounds like. It just waits for a click from the user, and it will perform an action when the user clicks. So this thing is called, next screen. This one is called next screen, and we just find it in our .xml file over here. So this will be the next screen button, and it will go to the next screen. So if we go down here, this is in our onCreate method. So here we have the next screen, and we give it a click listener. So you set our click listener, and you make a new click listener. This is called inline functions, where we make we don't set the variables outside the functions. We're just making them on the run basically. We're just repeating it once. So we give it this method called setOnClickListener. We create a click listener, and we have a method called onClick, which will basically perform an action on the click. And I'll go over this in a second. But this is a little confusing syntax. This is kind of, there's a lot of brackets, there's a lot of parentheses. Doesn't really make sense. So I'll go over real quick. So this is just, we're in a class file right now. This is another, this is a method or a function that Android has given us in the activity. You know how we extended activity? This method is included in that file called activity. So we can access this, and this will create a click listener for us. And then these brackets are what we want this click listener to have. So this is almost creating a little mini class function, or a little mini class in the method itself. So set up click listener, we create a click listener, and then this is going to be the functionality. So we have this this method or this function or this action that will perform called onClick that will, on a click, it will do what's in here. So the main part of this, the meaty part of this lecture, is what's called intent. So this intent is going to be basically our how we get to the next screen. And I'm trying to think of a way to say that is a little more we're going to, an intent is going to direct us to the next screen that we're going to go to, or the next Java class we're going to. So here I called it go to second activity. This is just a variable name. And I create a new intent. And this is just, that get context. This is saying get this screen. Get how we can define this screen, and we're going to want to go to this screen. So this just gets this screen, and this is the screen we want to go to. Does that make sense at all? Yeah? No? Makes sense. I'm not here. So we're going to want to make a new intent. We're going to grab this screen, and then we're going to go, we want to go to this screen. So this is kind of the air, this, you can think of a little air between these guys, which is the direction you want to go. So this second activity.class is a new Java file we made. And so when this thing runs, when I run this intent, it's going to open up this class, basically go to the that onCreate method that we were talking about before, and open up a new screen. So I call it down in the start activity, go to second method. We just basically start activity of the one that we find here. So this go to second activity dot put extra, what the heck is that? This is giving it information that we can pass between the two classes, or the two screens, the two Java files. Those all mean the same thing. This is basically if I gave you something, this is handing the information, and our information is going to be the text that's in message input, we're taking the information and we're handing it to the next class. And so that class can use it. And we're going to need to write a function in this class, second activity, to basically make sure that we extend the hand as well and the information we're passing. So this function is giving us the information, and then the other activity will grab the information and use it. And we're going to need to make a function to make sure that we grab that information. So this is just what we're going to call the information. I'm calling it message. You can name this whatever you want. You can just call it information that we're passing through. So since last time, I won't go over this, we went over this last time, but this is just getting the text thing that we're writing in. It gets the text and it just makes it a string variable form. So we're giving the information, we're calling it message, we're giving it to the second activity, and then we're gonna start up second activity. So that's all the different things that we need in the main activity. So it should be the same as last time, but with this thing called execute. So right here is the function that gets the message. So this thing called message received, that's a string. That's a string variable, and we made it a string variable because we made the message or the information that we were passing the string variable. So we need a string variable to collect it. And a string variable is just it contains text. I guess that's one way to put it. It contains text, numbers. An integer only can have numbers in it. A string can have text, numbers, whatnot. Basically anything you can put in between two quotes. So up here I define string message received. You don't have to do it up here, but yeah, I just put it up here to put all my variables in one place. And up here I do message received. I get the intent. So the intent is the thing that we just made, and then I get the extra string called message. That's what that line means. It says get string extra. So extra is the extra information we're passing, and look for the string that is called message, which is the name that we gave the information that we passed last time. And then so I get that. Now that's contained in this thing called message received, and then the text box or the text view called message, you just set the text to be the information we just received. So we're telling the text view, we want you to display the text that we just received. So now comes all this stuff. These four functions right here. And then we'll be done after that. So just like last time, we're going to use this click listener. The click listener is what I just went over with the other button that we used. The click listener is going to just listen for a user click. It's not going to do anything until it gets a click. So again, we're going to want to do set on click listener. We're going to want to give it a new click listener. Make sure that we have this function called onClick. So when there is a click, this is what's going to happen. And all this stuff is, we won't worry about it for now. Basically, I just have this variable called chosen color. You know what? We don't need to do this. This is going to make it a little more confusing. So let me get rid of all these things. Chosen color was just going to be a variable that we'd store the color that the user clicked, and then we could put it in that alert that we'll go over in a sec. But I'll just put it here in this little text. So we're going to make this alert builder in a second, but I just wanted to go over click listener first, and then we can just throw this on real quick after we learn how it works. So another big part of this lecture is alerts. So this part right here, we're going to focus on this. So first, before I go into that, let's go up here and let's make sure that you define all the variables that I have up here, just to make sure that you're following along as well. So you should have these two variables called alert dialog.builder, alert builder, and then alert dialog alert. Okay, that's all got those, and it's all got. So alerts are kind of like the push notifications we have on iPhones. Android, you probably have these things that pop up in class. They vibrate your phone or something. Let's say you got a new text message. I don't really know how Android works. I don't have an Android phone. I do know how Android works, but I don't know how that actually works. But so the alerts, we can kind of think of them as when you're on the internet and something pops up that says, do you want to install this, whatnot. That's what we can think of an alert as. So we're going to need this thing called Alert Builder, which you defined before. That's going to build this alert for us, and then we're going to create this alert that we build. So we have to make sure that we make a new alert builder. And the thing that says this is we're just saying we're going to make this alert builder for this class. That's what this keyword is. So alert builder, we're making a new alert builder. Then down here, we're going to set all the functionality that we want to have. So we're going to do alert builder dot. We're going to give it a title. So this is going to be the title of your alert. It's going to have a little horizontal bar at the top that will display this thing. I said color alert. I just made a color alert. We can make it anything you want. Then you're going to do set positive button. So alerts can have a positive button and a negative button. A positive button will be something like okay, a negative thing will be cancel maybe. We're not going to worry about a negative button. We don't really care if we have one or not because we don't need the user to make a choice. We're just telling it that we're giving it a certain color. So we're going to do set positive button. We're going to want this positive button to say okay, just so that the user can click on okay and be like, all right, I'm going to what this is. But then down here, we're going to make sure we have a comma. And this stuff can go right here. It's kind of hard to visualize that it's on a new line, but it is still dealing in this set positive button. It is still an input into this method, or this action. But I just put it on here because we kind of make a new dialog interface that will pass into this positive button. So that's a lot of words, and that's why doesn't make a lot of sense right now. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to need to make a new thing called dialog interface, and we're going to give it a click listener. So a dialog interface is just, this thing is really called an alert dialog, and then we're just talking about the interfaces for dialog. And we're going to do set on click listener, or we're doing another click listener. We're going to do this on click, and just type these in. This is just what that method on click needs to have. Or else you'll get an error if you don't have it. We don't really care about it because we don't want it to do anything. We just want to click OK and then the alert will be done. But we do need to have this method so that we have this option. So we should write this stuff. So we can have a click listener, we can have an on click, and we don't want it to do anything, but we have error if we didn't give it at least one time. So that's all we need for alerts. We can also do something that's like dot set message and give it the message that we want to display. We're going to be assigning that later, depending on what color we choose, so we don't need to do it now. But there's a lot of attributes you can put in this alert builder, and maybe in a future lecture we'll go into customizing these. You can have these sliders, so if you want like an alert to come up and be like how bright you want the screen, and you can adjust that. Or what do you want the hue of the background? You can also have multiple choice options, you can have checkboxes. Basically, the world is yours with these alerts. But right now, we're just giving it a button that says OK, and we're just going to choice background. So that's the hard part. Now, down in all these on-click methods, what we're going to do is we're going to do alert builder. So that's the variable we're just referencing. We're going to now give it a message. So I just said you chose yellow because this is the yellow button. And then our thing alert, which is our actual alert variable. Remember, this is just the thing that builds the alert. We're going to actually create this alert. So it's going to put this alert into action. We're going to assign to this variable, and then we're going to show the alert. So this is all that we need for the alerts. We basically just give it the message we want it to have. We create it from the builder. We assign it to the actual alert, and then we show that alert. And then this line right here is we're referencing the background. So the variable that we made that is associated with the background of the XML file or the background of the screen. We're just going to use set background color, and we're going to make it yellow. So we're going to do color and then make it yellow. Does that make sense? Do you guys have any questions on that at all? If you haven't done Java before, the syntax might just be a little weird. You're like, why do I need to put color before this yellow thing? What are these little parentheses? I'm not going to be able to teach you completely, how to write Java and stuff. For now, kind of just take it and be like, it works. I don't really know what it means now, but it will make sense to you the more that you code, the more that you work with Android. Android uses Java. Java is a great programming language to know. But for now, kind of just don't worry about it and just know that you're going to need these parentheses whenever you have an action. So like you're doing show, so you need the parentheses. We're creating something new with parentheses. And when we're referencing variable names, you don't need the parentheses. That was a good point. So this is our whole. This is a lot of text. It's a lot of code. It's a lot of syntax that doesn't really make sense. But trust me, if you work with Java and Android a little more, this stuff will just become apparent, and it'll look like you're reading English. It'll make sense to you magically. But so I'm just going to go over real quick what everything does again. We'll post these files up, and so you guys can look over them. Are there any outstanding questions? Like, do you need? Are there anything that doesn't really make sense off the bat that you kind of glossed over, maybe, or went a little too fast?
When you're talking about views, and then you reference them in these Java files, how do you reference them? Where do you identify? Is this screen to layout?
Yeah.
Where is it that you declare it as?
Oh, okay, yeah. So I went over that real quick. But basically, in this layout2.xml file, up here, I gave this relative layout. I gave it this ID now. It's called screen2 layout. So this relative layout contains all our other views, but we can still give it an idea to reference that. So I just gave it this idea here. Does that make sense to you on the other day? So yeah, I don't think I had that in my slideshow, so I should probably actually change that. But yeah, this is just so that we can change the background color. We don't need to give we don't need to give our layouts IDs usually, unless we want to change the background image or something. But we can give anything that has a tag. So tags, something like this with the that starts and ends with these greater than less than signs. We can always give an ID to any tag that we want. And it's a good practice to do so. Because like I did before, I didn't give it an ID when I was making the PowerPoint. And because I forgot that you're going to need to reference it. And I should have just made an ID right off the bat. Even if I wasn't thinking I was going to reference it, I ended up needing it later. So it's always a good idea to give everything an ID. So yeah,
So I'm just kind of trying to figure out how to read this.
Yeah. Which the XML file?
No, just the code.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with Java.
Yeah, of course.
So purple versus blue versus black, is there some?
Oh, okay.
For that?
Yeah. So these things that are in purple, these are words that we cannot use as variables. We cannot, basically we can't use these words as variables. These are words that Java gives us that are kind of Java keywords. So when I define class, Java sees this word and goes, okay, he's trying to mean class. When I do protected, this just means that other classes that aren't subclasses of these. So basically, if I just wrote a whole new activity and I wanted to reference this thing on create in this file, it was protected. That's something a little deeper knowledge of Java. You don't really need to worry about that right now. That was bad information. But for example, void, this is the return. This is the return variable. So when we have a variable, we always need to give it what its privacy is going to be, what it's going to return. So in this, we're not returning anything. So we just give it void. But if I had something that said like return string, so if this would have to be string, and this is the method name. So these words in purple are words that Java knows as keywords, and so yeah, it can actually perform actions such as when it sees this, it knows that, or something along these lines, it knows that we're creating a vector. When it sees class, it knows that we're creating a class. When it sees extends, it knows that we want to make this a subclass of a bigger class, which is also another thing that I won't go into right now. When it sees import, it knows that we want to import. It sees that word as a keyword, and it says, "Oh, okay, we need to do a certain action based on the keyword." So blue are always variables. So again, when we made all our variables, they're all blue. And here, when we're referencing them, they're all blue. When we're referencing these are all blue because these are variables that we have referenced. And then black is just all the other words we have. Green is always comments. And I think those are all the ones that we have. That was a pretty poor explanation that I had with the purple. Now that I'm thinking about it. Basically, you just need to know that these are keywords and we can't make these variable names for now. You need to learn a little bit more about Java to see what each one of these words actually does. But for now, we just know that if we make a variable and we assign a name, like I do string and do extends, and it's purple, that's there, as you see. So just don't create purple variables. This is there. So what we're going to need to do is we're done with creating our app. So barring that we all have the same code, we'll click on the project and we'll go up to here, run, and we'll click this little thing run. So it should take a second to launch. Mine is actually kind of broken in that, and I did this little disclaimer last time, but this is a huge program and there's a lot of room for errors. So sometimes things may be broken in Eclipse. It's just Eclipse screwing up. Eclipse is the only thing you can make Java in. It's just Eclipse can be used for almost any coding thing, so it comes with a lot of libraries. It looks for Java in certain places. There's basically a lot of room for errors, I'll say. So we kind of just need to roll with the punches and fix the errors on the fly. So my error is that I'll run this emulator. Okay, so I'll go in this. This is an emulator for the Android app. So this is actually going to load the operating system of Android on this emulator, and then you can run our app that we just made off this. It's very slow because we're basically booting an entire operating system. So it's really slow, and on your screen, your app will be really slow as well. It'll take a little time to go between activities. That's not how it will run on an actual phone. I've done it where I've emulated the app, it's been really slow, and I put it on the phone, and it's like, there's no lag or anything. So one way you can do it, if you have an Android phone, if you have an Android phone, you can look up online how to basically plug your phone into your computer, and you can just test it on your phone. I won't do that because I don't have an Android phone myself. But it is possible. I've done it before. So you guys should click run. This thing should be running. It takes a while to do. Down here is the console. So this just tells you what steps are going on right now. So right now it's waiting for this thing to be launched. It's going to take a while. But as this thing is running, I'll go over what we did in our Java file real quick. So here, before we had our onCreate method, we declared all our variables. This is just so we don't need to declare them. I think it makes the code look a little nicer. This is just so we get declaring them out of the way, so we can just reference them later. We don't need to make them. So this onCreate method is the method that Java looks, or Android looks for when it runs this activity. So it'll look for this first and do this first. So we create the activity here, and we associate it with the layout file that we made before, the .xml file. Here, and we're giving them we're assigning them variables so that we can reference them later and change their attributes. Here we get the information that we passed in the last app into another variable, and we set the text of our text box to the information that was passed to us from the activity that we came from. Here we create the alert builder so that we only have a button that says OK and it doesn't really do anything. We don't give it a message, we just give it a title because we'll be assigning a message later. And then in these three methods, which are pretty much all the same, we give the buttons that we have a click listener so that when the user clicks, we'll have something that can tell if the user clicked on it. We make a function that performs something on the click. We set the message that we want for this alert that we just created before. We create the alert in real time, and then we show it. And then we change the background. And so that's a really, really quick summary of what we just did. And that's really all this app does. So as you can see, I mean, this is a pretty simple app. This is not Snapchat or Facebook or Vine or something. This is pretty simple, and there's a lot of code that goes behind it. So when you're playing your, using your phone later, just be appreciative that someone took the time to actually make a huge app like that, and so they actually do it. So app development is definitely hard. It's definitely tough, but it's not. It becomes a lot easier after the first couple of times that you do it. So this, you're looking at this, you're like, I don't know what's going on. You do it 2 or 3 more times, and it will be here. So as you can see, if you guys have an Android, you know how like this looks really slow. This is really bad. But it's not your app, it's the emulator. So here we have it. Let's see what this was. So this is what we did last time. So I'll just type in anything. Send a message. So this is the information that we'll be sending over. So this is the button that we made this time. So I click it. It should go to new speed. So here there's a message that we sent over. So that's that thing that we put the intent. We gave that extra information. That's it right here. Being displayed. That should be able to click here. Here's our alert. It shows yellow. Awesome. And there's our button. Okay. And we show blue. There we go. We chose blue. So this app doesn't really do anything. I mean, no one can download this or anything. But it should illustrate. You can use these buttons. You can use this functionality to do something really cool. Just need a little creative part. And so I kind of flew through this today for you guys that maybe did from the last lecture. This might have been a little fast. And apparently it's a little fast for you guys that did from the last lecture as well. This will be posted online, and I will have all this code up there so you can kind of cruise through it if you have any spare time. And if you guys have any questions, do you have any errors in the code? I don't know if you're trying to run it and maybe there's an error or something that we can fix real quick. I'll stick around for like 5 minutes after if you guys have errors or personal questions. But are you all good? Anything you guys want to know a little more about, or it doesn't really make sense? That's it. All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, we have a lab session today at MCS B20 at 1 p.m. And so yeah, and we have free pizza coming in at some point. Way too much pizza, but that's enough people. But and as Kevin said, we're gonna put this up on Google Drive. I shared with everyone here something called GAI club members, and under that folder, you're going to have a zip file that contains all of the lecture materials for each lecture. And whatever isn't there now, I mean, it's all going to be updated very soon, so I'll look forward to that. Right now, I think we have some of the Objective-C and the iOS make a lot of money doing this, and there are a lot of jobs available. Say you're doing research with a professor or something, and you use something how to build an Android app, make an Android app to supplement whatever you're doing, wherever you are, and so I think it's really good to learn, and getting started is the first step. So go celebrate the Red Sox.
That's all. All right, yeah. So thanks for coming to the